Okay, let's get into it. It's been brought to my attention by a client that an explanation should be given or could be given and would benefit if it was given based upon the solar and natal charts. And moreover, does one take precedence over the other? Should you choose one over the other? Or is there a way to correlate these two charts so that it can benefit you? So my answer to that is I'm going to give you the information and leave the decision solely up to you. This is for everyone who's watching this, all right? Now, what I recommend or what I suggest according to my own experiences is to correlate the two. I'm one of those people, by the way, who once I read my natal chart, I wanted to stick to my natal chart. You know, all of the struggles and all. I just wanted to apply everything to my natal chart until I read my horoscope one day and they said something about a planet being in my first house of Pisces. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because my Pisces is inside of my sixth house. So what are you talking about, right? I'm looking at my natal chart. So, I felt confused and I don't like to be confused. I'm a researcher. So I went back to the books and I found out that there's a solar chart. So every day that you read your horoscope, they are talking about your solar chart. They don't know you, and I'm not saying that to put you down, but these astrologers don't know you, meaning they don't know your natal chart. You know what I mean? They're speaking to you, they're sending you a solar message, and they are able to do so because they have the information of the planets of what's going on right now, today, in this very moment, and they can send that message to you according to what sign you are. I got the same type of solar charts on my website right now. All right, so with that being said, let me explain the difference between these two charts. The natal chart is what you're born with. It's kind of like your destiny. It's your celestial blueprint. It's what you are to become and what you are to obtain in this life. And it just hasn't actualized yet. So I want you to look at the natal chart from the perspective of a 2-year-old. And that may sound funny, right? I'm serious though, because you'll see things in your natal chart that just have not occurred yet, and that's got to be okay with you, okay? Because you gotta look at it as a journey, as a path. This is the hand that you are dealt. So when you heard the term that says it's not about the hands that you're dealt, it's about playing the cards that you were given to the best of your ability, right? That's what the natal chart is, okay? Everyone's dealt different hands for the most part, and we got to play those cards to our best ability. So now you're playing the game of life, and this is your hand. This is your cards. It's what your natal chart is, right? So now when you're looking at this from a 2-year-old perspective, right? Let's say you're 16 now. You say, okay, I'm supposed to have a career in this. I'm supposed to have a family life like this. Where's it at? Why I don't have it? I'm supposed to have luxurious items. Where's it at? Where are they at? Why I don't have it, right? So this is where the solar chart comes in. Because the solar chart is there, again, the moment in time right now, for you to take advantage, to utilize the sun, not only the sun, but all of the aspects of the planets that occur right now to extract and to obtain all of the resources and the things necessary to become your natal chart. You bring it on home to your natal chart. That's the game of life. Okay, so with that being said, now that you know this, you have to realize that although you may have a Pisces sun inside of the 12th house like this scenario does, every day that you wake up as a Pisces, your solar chart is going to look at you as Pisces being inside of your first house. So you have to decipher the difference between Pisces being in 12th house in your natal chart and Pisces being in the first house today and every day. For your eternity, you're going to wake up Pisces, and the solar chart is going to pertain to Pisces being your first house, Aries being your second house, so on and so forth, Taurus being your third house. And you have to learn how to align, or you should align if you're going to correlate these two, to align both of these understandings to make your natal chart come into fruition. So in this scenario, this Pisces sun has an Aries ascendant, and they have Mars inside of the third house of Gemini. Ignore that fourth that you see in the diagram up there. I should have erased that, but don't let it distract you. Mars is in the third house of Gemini for this Pisces sun in the natal chart, and Uranus is inside of the sixth house of the sign of Libra in their natal chart. So now I'm going to explain to you what these placements mean natally, naturally, and how this Pisces person is going to utilize the solar chart, the very moment, to obtain and extract from what's happening right now to bring it on home to their natal chart. So first, starting with the Aries ascendant, you're going to filter information as an Aries would. Leadership roles, creativity, entrepreneurship. Learn taking your bruises as you go along. That's how you learn from your experiences. This is how this person approaches life in the universe. Also, this persona will be projected off to the people that this person knows, right? So as a Pisces sun, the Aries ascendant protects the Pisces sun. That's what an ascendant is for. It's the game face, all right? So some people may look at this person, this Pisces sun, and be like, you're such a go-getter, you're such a leader, you know what I mean? And that may be true. And they may also say, well, you're a people's person, because as a leader, you have to relate to people in some type of way, right? So they're like, you're such a leader, you're such a great guy. And then deep down inside in your soul, you're like, I'm an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a sarcastic asshole like a Pisces can be, right? But they don't know that because your ascendant projects off a totally different persona. But you see how the benefits come from this, and they like give you money, and they say, oh yeah, they finance you. They say, oh yeah, I want you to be my leader, lead me, right? And you're like, wow, this whole game face ascendant thing is working for me. So you got to determine whether that's being authentic because you're protecting your Pisces sun, or if it's not being authentic. Some people are more along the lines of the fixed sign, should I say, and this is not concrete, but you'll see like those more stubborn signs say, I'm not changing for nobody. You know what I mean? They get the decision between a natal chart and a solar chart. They're going to stick with their natal chart and they say, this is who I naturally am? Yeah, this is who I naturally am. Well, this is who I'm going to be every day. You know, I'm not changing for nobody. Like, this is what you see is what you get, right? We know those types of people, right? And then you got your people who use the game face and say, you know, you can call me fake or flaky or whatever, but I'm strategizing and I'm playing the game of life according to the cards that I'm dealt. Now, you can determine whether that's authentic to you or not, but I know what's authentic to me. You know what I mean? Especially the cardinals and the mutable signs, because they have to deal with change more than a fixed sign does. Fixed sign is just like, this is it. Focus, narrow, I'm gone, leave me alone, get out of my way. Right? So that's kind of the difference there. Or more along the lines of how an ascendant should be applied in this matter. So this is how this Pisces sun is naturally, right? Now, Mars inside of the third house for this Pisces sun natally means that this person has great drive and ambition, but they absorb information and ideas greatly. They're passionate about expressing the things that they are passionate about. However, it can come out in a clumsy way or a premature way, should I say, to where they don't have the facts researched. So it can get them into unnecessary turmoil. So the way to combat this is to channel those energies in a dispersed way that the Gemini behaves, right? You use variety. You put your goals and ambition into a variety of different things, 3 the most, I would say, because a Gemini can definitely manifest those things. And that's how you disperse the energy so that you maintain being busy, because with a Mars inside of the third house of Gemini, this person can become bored, and that's when the shenanigans start. You want to shy away from that. You want to stay away from that, right? So this placement is also great for people who like brain games and puzzles. But not only that, this person is prone to arguments or disputes and with siblings and potentially neighbors as well. Not only that, the competition level with this placement is very high, very high. So keep this in mind for the scenario that I'm going to produce for you. Moving right along, Uranus is inside of the sixth house of the sign of Libra. So Uranus is the planet of electricity, spontaneity, lightning quick epiphanies. Is psychic energy attached to Uranus. Also rules over technology, right? Rebellion is the planet of rebellion and independence, where you want to be independent in life. See, Uranus rebels for the house that it's in and has the potential and may just rebel against the sign that it's in. Okay, so for this person, naturally, they will rebel for and stand up for matters of the sixth house, work environment and health, right? And in this situation, it's going to be both a healthy work environment. Now, they may, in the process, rebel against the matters relative to Libra. Relationships, seeking balance and all that. We don't really care. Uranus is there. I'm independent. I could do this on my own. If I got to break ties with these people that I'm in cahoots with, so be it. I don't have to kumbaya over the campfire with y'all. It's on. It's me. And if pretty much a healthy work environment takes precedence over the relationships is what this placement means naturally. All right, keep this all in mind. I'm about to bring it in right now. So, how will this Pisces actualize these natal placements? So I'm going to explain a solar chart right now. This is where the planets are really right now to December 5th, 2018 for every sign that's watching this video right now. So we're going to explain how this Pisces can extract and obtain all of the resources that's happening in the moment to actually actualize their natal chart, making it a correlation. So in the solar chart right now, Mars is inside of the first house of Pisces. So natally, Pisces is in the 12th house for this person. But in the solar chart, Pisces is in the first house. Now, this is a challenge because natally, it means isolation, being isolated from people and stuff like that. And to some degree, it means the same thing inside of the solar chart. So, but you have to learn how to apply what's going on in the very moment and bring it on home to your natal chart. So you may just be that isolated type Pisces, but you got to come out in the sunlight to obtain and extract the things that you need to bring that back to your isolated methods. Or your bed pleasures included, right? All of the things included with the 12th house, self-renewal and things of that nature. So in the solar chart, Mars is inside of the first house. So now instead of, these matters pertain to the first house, which is like the ascendant, the embodiment of whatever Pisces is. All of that stuff conglomerated inside of one piece, which is you, the body. Is the first house. The head is the first house, right? So this person is going to be creative. This person is going to have vision. This person is going to have psychic abilities to some extent, and is going to be the sum of all parts embodied in one individual, all right? And when you take action and you utilize your vitality, you utilize the sun is going to pertain to the sign of Pisces as well. So moving right along, Aries is the second house for this Pisces sun. So this is where Pisces get the rep for like they have a problem with authority. This is why Pisces is like, I don't want to work. I don't want to work for you. I don't want to work with all this structure and this conformity. Like I need to do me. I work with rhythms and moods and motions. Like this is how I work best. All of this 9 of whatever hour it is. It's not to put anybody down, but I'm just saying when people be like, oh, Pisces, you got fired again. This is why, because we have a personal attachment, right? We're talking about the second house right now. We have a personal attachment, Pisces, to leadership roles, to creation, to entrepreneurship, to just having this go attitude, like I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? And it's Pisces, like it's dispersed. So there's no real form here. You learn later in life, and if you're lucky to study your natal chart, you understand what dreams you should go after and which ones you probably should put on the back burner and maybe not go after at all because it's in your natal chart. But some Pisces without their natal chart, they don't know. So they make a lot of mistakes, and even they're timid in sometimes because they don't know actually what dream they should go after because they have so many. But this is the attitude of a Pisces on a solar chart. And if this is not the attitude of a Pisces in the solar chart, then this means that they do not know how to activate their solar chart. They don't know how to activate probably the most powerful part of them being in this existence. And I'm going to do a video on this for Secret Houses podcast soon enough, maybe next month, to start the new year off. But this is what's in the second house for this Pisces sun. Now, moving right along, ignore that fourth. Did I say that before? Ignore the fourth that's on top of Gemini right now. We're not gonna step into that. But now, moving right along, there's the sun inside of the sign of Sagittarius, which is the 10th house for this Pisces sun. So this means that this is where the sun is right now. So the focus and concentration should be making a career out of whatever this Pisces is doing right now at this moment. All right. And that career is going to be applied to the characteristics that are attached to Sagittarius. Higher education, a higher spiritual awareness, a higher, travel, things that are deal with travel and publishing on a higher level, right? and teaching in some type of way, right? So although there's different constructs, different planets and things that pertain to this Pisces Sun life right now, the concentration and focus should be along the lines of that. Doesn't mean that they have to act and apply exactly where that's at, but that's where the light is shining. So it's definitely essential to keep this in mind when you're utilizing all of the other components of this chart. So this Pisces moves into a new neighborhood. Now, remind you, natally, there's Mars inside of the third house of Gemini. Remember what I told you about the siblings and the neighbors and all of that? In high competitive drive, this Pisces moves into a new neighborhood, and they don't really care for being friends with the neighbors and stuff like that. They don't care. It's not their agenda. Naturally, it's just not their agenda. So what happens in the process is they stumble across some politicians. You know, they're in a Starbucks, they're having a meeting, they start talking to these politicians. And what the politicians are doing is they're developing a campaign, because they're not the politicians that are in power in office right now. They're creating a campaign to go against the politicians who are in office right now. Okay? Now, whether or not they have the actual candidate that's going to run, we don't even have all that information yet. I just want you to know that there's a team of players who are developing a plan to run against the people who are in power. And they just happen to belong to the community. So when they get into this conversation, right, the politicians bring to the Pisces attention that, you know, there are these politicians right now that they're going up against who had just made a post online about, you know, standing up against hate crimes in the community and standing up for a religious institution in the community that the hate crime was done against. So the Pisces Sun is like, oh yeah, well, tell me more. Show me where this took place at. So the politicians go online, they go on the iPad, they show the Pisces Sun where it's at, and the post is these politicians are basically saying that they're standing up against the hate crime in the community because some vandals chopped off the penis of a statue that stood in front of one of these religious institutions, right? So the Pisces is looking at this and they're like, oh wow. So what the Pisces does next is, you know, they type a comment under there. They hit the keyboard. So the politicians, they're like, what are you doing? And Pisces' Sun is like, well, I just made a comment. I just made a statement on it. And they say, what did you say? And I said, do you think that hate crime is linked or associated in any type of way to the crimes against children from this religious institution? So, you know, sounds kind of sarcastic, right? But it's deep, like a Pisces would approach things. And they're like, why did you do that? Are you crazy? Right? So as you may see, Mercury is inside of Pisces right there. And I want to put emphasis on this right now is because Mercury falls inside of the sign of Pisces. So that's why Pisces sometimes get the rap for being crazy as well, because, you know, Mercury falls inside of Pisces. So when you're communicating things or you're supposed to make sense out of the mental process, and some people be like, well, that doesn't make sense, or that's just crazy, right? But the Pisces approach is like, what do you mean I'm crazy? Like, do you not see some type of information that is questionable right here? Like, do you not make the connection of this religious institution has a history of violating children and crimes against children, sexual crimes against children, and then a vandal chops off the penis of a statue? Like, do you not see the connection here? And even if it's not true, don't you think it's worthy news or to bring that to the forefront if you're going to be part of this community and standing up and representing this community? You know what I mean? So the politicians are like, he got a point there. This guy or this gal is fucking brilliant, right? Excuse my language. I curse like a sailor in Secret Houses podcast, but here nor there. They're like, yeah, this person is a genius. They're right. You know what I mean? They're making a point. Now, remind you though, right? As I said before, naturally, this Pisces has Mars inside of the third house of Gemini. So naturally, they have the tendency to go off and talk about stuff that they're passionate about, right? Obviously, this Pisces Sun does not like violating children. So they're passionate about expressing themselves, but they don't have the facts yet, right? So come to find out that this community, the religious institution in this community, does not have a track record of abusing children, right? So it kind of like it's a strike against the Pisces in this situation. So the politicians explain this to the Pisces, and then the Pisces is like, oh, okay, I see. So again, they're utilizing Mars being inside of the first house of Pisces, though, right? Because Mars is there, Mars is the soldier. You know what I'm saying? And then with Uranus being inside of the second house of Aries, Uranus is spontaneous and rebels for the second house, which means anything that's personally attached to the values of this Pisces sun, they may be spontaneous about it and rebel against it. So they actually utilize where the solar chart placements are right now to bring things home to the natal chart. And the reason why is going to be more along the lines of Mars inside of Gemini in the third house right now. I'm going to get to the sixth house in a minute, because in the third house, with Mars being in the third house of Gemini, this states that this Pisces doesn't really care about the neighbors or the community and stuff like that, right? It will compete and it will go to war against anything that siblings included, neighbors. It doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? So they utilize, and with Saturn being in Capricorn right now, it's not on the chart, but with Saturn being in Capricorn right now, it actually is sextile to Mars inside of Pisces right now. So it presents an opportunity. So although the politicians see the flaw and the error in this, it was prematurely done without the facts. This Pisces sun took advantage of the moment to do what they did. And I'm going to explain how this puts them in a better position later on in life, and then how it applies to the natal chart. So Pisces says, okay, you guys, all right, you got me. I don't have the facts, right? Come to find out, the religious institution doesn't have a track record of abusing children in this community. However, overall, in the general overall look of things, they are known for this type of activity. However, I'm going to do some research so that I can strengthen not only my position, but your position as well, because this Pisces realize in the process that they're not a politician. Okay, so although natally their 10th house is in Capricorn, where they can have a position in government, they're still a Pisces sun. So it's like, can't have no authority over you. So it's not like they can actually work for or work under a political figure, but they may be able to advise a political figure. And that's what I'm going to get to as well. But in the solar chart, as you see where the sun is in the 10th house of Sagittarius, it's more of like a teacher thing. So if they utilize advising, as I said, teaching in the solar chart in the present moment, they can benefit that as being a official in some type of way, with Capricorn being in a natal placement of the 10th house for this Pisces sun. So now let's get to Uranus, because Uranus inside of the 6th house natally is very important to what this Pisces sun is about to do next. The Pisces sun says, okay, let me do some research. And what they found is that although the religious institution did not abuse children in this community, the people who babysit in this community have a track record of abusing these children sexually. Okay? And the numbers, the statistics is great enough to make an arguing case. So again, natally, Mars inside of the 3rd house is up for debate, competing, whatever the case may be. So this is sparked, right? It's in the community, it's sparked. Let's do it. Now, natally again, Uranus is inside of the 6th house, which deals with health and work environment. So this Pisces says, okay, utilizing Pisces being in the 1st house, Aries being in the 2nd house, creativity. This Pisces creates an organization so that moms of children can work from home. Moms from children can work from home. Okay, so now they're more along the lines of the work sector. And this is right up this Pisces sun alley, because they have Uranus inside of the 6th house, which rebels for and stands up for healthy work environments. Okay, so they bring this to the attention of the politicians. They say, look, I just created an organization so where moms can work from home, because these babysitters can't be trusted. They're abusing the children, this, that, and the third. So they make a great case. Politicians, hoorah, they celebrate this. Okay, so can you show us how this is done? Pisces says, bet. Now they bring to the attention, again, this Pisces is no politician. So they bring this to the attention of the Pisces, like, listen, before you do all of the concrete things for this organization, keep in mind that there's zoning laws that politicians are very much in control of. So when it comes to doing commercial business inside of residential areas, there's some zoning laws that will oppose that. So how will you make this work? So the Pisces would be like, listen, using that individualistic property of the 2nd house belonging to Aries, they say, well, we work as individual people from home. These women will be at home working in front of the computer, communicating to people via the internet. Okay, so that means there's no reason to pay attention to oncoming and in and out traffic of people people pulling up in parking lots and parking their cars. There won't be a lot of that going on because nobody has to come here. They are reaching people, masses of people, right from the comfort of their living room with their children sitting there with them by their side, right? Not being victims to these babysitters who are treacherous, right? We can't trust these babysitters no more. So now the politicians are eating this up and they're like, this is great. This is fantastic. You understand what I'm talking about? There's no physical location needed for there to be cash registers in the home for exchanging of monies. You use PayPal and online payment processors for that to be done. So this is just fantastic, right? And now that these moms can work from home, these politicians are coming in from a different angle with a perspective on something that is productive in their campaign instead of just outright going against, what they're saying about standing up for this religious institution. However, you know how politics are. You know how politicians can be. They may bring that up in the same argument and say, listen, these guys are protecting a religious institution that is known for, crimes against children, sex crimes against children. And, aren't we supposed to be state verse or state separated from church? What is this kumbaya at the campfire stuff? This is what the Pisces says, right? Again, this Pisces naturally will not care about relationships and seeking balance when it comes to work environment, a healthy work environment. That precedes over relationships and seeking balance and kumbaya and all that, right? So these people bring that to the public's attention. Like, it's church versus state, right? So what is the connection here? Are they trying to protect these people? Are they trying to hide something? They can make a commercial and an advertisement, and the Pisces may help along this advertisement, right? Because again, this Pisces is no politician, but when it comes to creating something, a vision, they can make a campaign, a commercial for this and get their point across, right? So this is another way that this Pisces sun helps out in this scenario. Now, even more that gives this political campaign more support is that with these work at home jobs being created, it helps state. So it strengthens the state and it takes away from the treachery that's going on with this religious institution at the same time. So if these are the representatives, are going to be the representatives for the people of this state and more importantly, this district, this community, for them to put emphasis on the job that's going to be created, right? And taxes are going to be paid. And so the taxpayers are going to finance a program that is better fit for the children of this community, which are our future. They have an even more stronger campaign. You understand what I'm saying? So this is how you utilize your solar chart to bring it on home to your natal chart. Now sure, this Pisces utilize their Aries ascendant as a game phase to, be the leader in this situation. However, to protect their soul, which is a Pisces sun, they say, no, I don't want to stand at the podium and express any of this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm a Pisces. I might make a movie for y'all about this. You know what I mean? I might make a commercial for y'all. I might create a situation that behooves myself and all of that and you guys at the same time with this whole work environment thing. But that's about it. I don't want to run for office is pretty much what I'm saying. So now let's bring this to the 10th house where the sun is actually shedding light on, right? This Pisces now can take this creation and travel abroad, right? Deals with Sagittarius, teach with it, right? So imagine taking this template to different states, to different communities, to different countries even, and implementing it there as a teaching type of thing, right? So this is where your focus could be put on, like, okay, I might not act on it in this exact moment to implement it all over the world. However, because it's happening right now and the sun is concentrating on that type of focus, this is the type of potential that this actual activity has. Okay? So again, this is how you absorb, how you extract, how you obtain all of the resources that's happening in the moment to bring it on home to the natal placement. And it goes right along with what this Pisces sun natally had. So I hope this helps. If there's any questions, please get inside of the comment box. Hopefully I will be able to explain there what you need to know if it's confused you any bit. I also have products that have solar charts on the daily basis for every sign. They're already pre-designed. They're in the sign of Sagittarius right now, so I do them by zodiacal season. All right, so next time it'll be for the sign of Capricorn, and so on and so forth. There are also synastry charts that I do that are similar to the individual solar charts. However, there's an extra reading that pertains to the compatibility of these two apart from their individual settings for that season. And there's also many other products there now as well, that you could take a look at. This really isn't a sales pitch. It's more along the lines of explaining this difference. And I think it's very important for everyone who's looking up astrology to know this, so you don't get confused later on in life, and you're making all of these adjustments according to your natal plan, and you don't know how to utilize the solar chart to get the things that you need or want, or that you have not obtained in your natal chart as of yet. So, all right, everyone. Until next time, I'm out.